Yeah. So we started chapter number 19, and in the previous lesson, I actually explained you different concepts which are there in this chapter. We talked about costs, we talked about scale of production, and break even. Okay. Now we'll talk about in detail about each one of it. Okay. So starting from costs first. So business costs. Why do we need to know business costs? You know what are business costs, okay? It's pretty much fine. So business has to spend some amount of money to run it, okay? Paying salaries, wages, electricity, utility bills, right? And they may have to set up new branches as well. They may have to buy new technology, equipment as well. So these sorts of expenditures are there in almost every business. So we need to know what is the benefit of knowing business costs. Like if you are a business entrepreneur, why or a manager, why do you need to know business costs? What is the importance or usefulness of it? Let's see. Before I discuss it, I want you to share your ideas. What do you think? Yes, anyone who can?
Such that we
Why?
can calculate profit and loss.
All right, very good. Abhi, thank you very much. Yes, without because we discussed that last time as well, that the formula to calculate profit is total revenue minus total cost. The amount of money you receive, okay, that is what we call revenue, minus the amount of money you spend in the form of cost. What do you get? You get profit, and that is the primary objective of any private sector business. So without knowing your cost, you cannot get profit. You cannot calculate it at all. Okay, because the formula says total revenue minus total cost. So that is why it is important. So very good point actually raised by Abir. Abir, your participation is really appreciated. Um, okay, all
Thank
right.
you,
So
sir.
now let anyone else who
Sir,
wants to contribute. Yeah, yeah,
another
Mana.
reason can be that if the business wants the investments, uh, the business, i- if the business knows the cost, they can know how many investments they need to in order to run their businesses.
All right, Manha, great answer. Again, I'm very happy for you too as well. Yes, sometimes the businesses they want to expand, they want to open more branches, they want to extend their production capacity. So if they do not know what costs are there, so how can they plan about that investment? Because obviously to go for that investment, they require a certain amount of money, right? So without knowing cost, business cannot come to know how much money is required for that. So then investment or expansion of that business may not take place, or even if expansion takes place, it may not work. Business may not remain successful just because they were not aware of their costs, and now the costs have increased all of a sudden, and they do not have the required amount of finance to support those or to pay those costs or expenses, right? So very good. That's right. Yeah, great answer. Now, okay, let's now discuss few of the points. Some of them you have already mentioned, and some of them you can see now. Okay, the importance of knowing business costs as a business manager or as a business entrepreneur. One, comparing cost and revenue. Obviously, you need to compare cost with your revenue. If your revenue is less than your cost, obviously you are suffering losses. Then there is no point running your business. Okay? Or if your revenue is more than your cost, it is a good sign. It means that you are running a successful business, and then you can further plan for expansion as well. Okay? But without comparing cost and revenue, you can't do it. Okay, one more thing. I hope that you all are studying accounting as well. Is it the case? Anyone who is not studying accounting? Is there anyone? Okay,
No,
it's
sir, we all are
so
studying accounting.
all right. You all are studying accounting, so that's great. So because I'm going to link it with the accounting as well. You know when you actually make income statement. So what does income statement show? It basically compares your expenses with the revenue. That is it. And finally, you get profit for the year. First, you get gross profit, and then you get profit for the year as well. That is what we call net profit, right? So it means income statement basically compares the cost and revenue of the business. And that is why income statement is made. It is drawn just because of that, so that business can come to know about their cost and how much revenue they are having in comparison to cost. Because only then you will be able to get whether you are earning profit or loss, or even if you are earning profit, how much profit is it, so that you can plan further accordingly whether to go for further expansion, or right now for the time being just keep your business at the same level if you are struggling in terms of profit. Second, determining profit or loss. So you can say both are quite interlinked with one another, but you can actually use it differently as well. Like profit and loss, you understand, okay? When you compare cost with revenue, you get profit. But cost and revenue, like for example, let me give you an example. How can you develop the first point differently? Because second point is just like that what we just discussed. So when you compare your cost with your revenue, what do you get? It's not only profit. For example, your cost is increasing by 10% and your revenue is increasing just by 5%, right? So you will be able to know that your cost is increasing faster than your revenue, and this is not a good sign. Maybe in the short term, you might not get difficulty because still you are getting profit. But in the longer run, if your costs keep on increasing faster than your revenue, obviously the problem is bound to occur, right? And then there'll be a problem. So if you keep on looking at your cost and keep on comparing with your revenue, you can actually prevent that situation to happen when you start suffering losses, right? So this is actually the prevention, or you can take steps. How can cost be reduced? Like for example, if cost is increasing faster than revenue, you can find out the reason behind it. Okay, so you can find out the root cause of it, and once you find it, you can take steps to reduce your cost, or you can take steps to increase your revenue as well, right? So but because we are talking about cost in particular, uh, so I'll talk about cost. So you can control your cost if you know why it is increasing, so that in the future you won't find a situation difficult to handle as a business owner or as a business manager. So that is how these 2 points are different. But if you write these 2 points together in the development of a point, still it's fine, but examiner will consider that only as 1 point. Just remember that. But you can make 2 points as well, but then you have to develop these 2 points differently. Huh? That's my only concern. All right. Third is comparing locations of possible new sites. It's the same as one of the students actually, Manha actually raised that point, that if you're planning to expand and you are finding a new location, you need to understand what new cost will come, what new cost a business needs to pay. Either it is in the form of buying a land, paying rent of the building, hiring new workers, buying raw material, equipment, machinery, whatever it is. So you need to know that cost as well. Okay, you need to know your current cost as well, and you need to know about the cost which you are going to experience. So otherwise, whatever you plan, that is not gonna work. In fact, it will backfire because eventually you will run out of cash. You won't have much finance to support your business activity, and eventually you will close down your business. So that is a very valid point raised by Manha. Price determination, yes, again, it's very important. You know that whenever you set a price, there are many factors you consider while setting a price, but here we'll only talk about cost because yes, there is a chapter purely based on price. So we'll talk about there. What are the other factors? Right now, we'll focus on the most one of the most important factor which is considered while determining a price or setting a price, that is cost. Obviously, no business will want to set a price below their cost. For example, if the cost of one product is, let's say, $100, so would you like to charge price below 100? Obviously not, because in that way you will be suffering losses. So no business would like to have it, right? So that is why knowing cost is very important, because if you do not know your cost, you might set a price which is below your cost. Okay, and then you will be in danger. And the problem is you might not be aware of it, that you have charged a price or set a price which is below your cost. Okay, so that is very dangerous for a business in terms of survival. So when businesses know their cost, they set a price which is at least above the cost, so that they will get some amount of profit to stay in that market and keep on running their business activity. All right, so these are the different points which actually explain the importance of knowing cost or cost data. Any question regarding it? These 4 points? No. Okay. All right. So, okay, if there is no response, so I assume that you got the point, because eventually I will give you an assignment, you know that, and then you will have to do it as well. Although I can help you out in that assignment as well, but I won't help you out much. Why? Because obviously that would be an assignment and I will mark it. But I can help you in making you understand the question or the statement of the question or the nature of the question. But I can't tell you the answers when I'll give you the assignment. All right. So moving onwards. Now, now this is an activity for you guys, right? I will name you and then you will answer it. Okay. So you will not answer me on your own, right? Now, list 10 costs that would be involved in opening and running a new factory making sport shoes. You can see it in the picture as well. Starting from Abdullah Zahid. Abdullah, tell me about one of the costs which the business will experience. Abdullah Zahid. Abdullah, you have to unmute your mic. You have to say something, na? Even if you do not know, you can say, sir, I do not know. Does not matter. Yes, Abdullah Zahid. I think Abdullah Zahid might not be there, or he might be. Okay, all right. So, Abdullah, thank you very much. I got your response. Maybe you have a problem with your mic. Abdullah said labor cost. Yes, you can see in the picture that there are lots of workers working and they are, I think, working on shoes, right? Right. So this is one of the costs, salaries and wages. Very good. All right. Then I want Momna Atif to respond. Yes, Momna, any other cost which you can think of? Momna Atif, please respond. Either you can text it, or you can just tell me verbally. But you have to talk. Momna Atif, because in that way we'll waste our time of class. You need to respond quickly, because then I will mark those students who are not responding. Momna is not responding. All right. Okay, moving onwards. Zainab Pizada. Yes, Zainab.
Sir, it could be rent of the factory.
Very good. Thank you very much, Zainab. That's right. It could be rent of the factory. That's right. And they have to pay if they do not own that factory. So obviously they have to pay some amount in the form of rent to the owner of the building as well. Very good. All right. Now, Amaz Rasool. Yes, Amaz. What is your answer? Amaz, please speak up. Yes. Sorry, Amaz, I can't hear you. Yes.
Sir, I can't recall on one right now.
All right. Okay, fine. Amaz, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. No problem at all. If you do not know, does not matter. But you have to respond now, so that I can see that all students are there actively listening to me. All right. Okay. Yes, that's right. There could be other costs as well, such as cost of raw material for making shoes, right? Similarly, cost of clothes workers are wearing. You can see that the caps are there on their heads as well. The gloves they are wearing, the uniform they are having, right? So this is also part of business costs, right? Similarly, you can see that on top, if you can see the ceiling, so lights are there as well. Okay, so again, electricity bill is there. Again, it's a cost there, which business has to pay. So you can imagine as many costs as possible, which can be there in a business. All right. So let's move on. Okay. Okay. Now, have we talked about 10 of them? Let's see. We have talked about electricity bill, cost of electricity, uniform, or the equipment provided to the workers or the employees, cost of raw material, three. Fourth is the rent of the building. Then fifth is amount paid to the workers as well. So we actually covered five of them. The question is about list 10. Yes, Sabine?
Sir, any repairs that we might need later in the future, even after our fixtures or our machines have been set up?
Very good, Abid. That's right. Perfect answer. Like, let's say if there are some machines that as well. If you see in the backdrop, there are some machines as well, equipment there. So yes, they might require some repair work as well. Yes, that's right. So this is also a cost. Very good, Abid. So the way you think, huh? It is really commendable. Okay, all right. So now make it six. Now give me four more costs. Why? Because I want you to think extensively. Yes, Manha.
Sir,
Manha,
the
you want to
transportation, sir, the
very
transportation cost for the raw
absolutely right.
material.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Mana. Mana. You are also participating very well. Yes, because after manufacturing shoes, they have to send it to the shops where it can be sold. Very good. So transportation cost is involved there. I got a response from Abdullah Zahid as well. Abdullah, very good. Abdullah said marketing expense. Again, very good because you have to advertise your shoes as well. Na? Otherwise, if you just put it in a shop, nobody is going to buy. Reason is because these days we do not buy products. We always buy brands. You know that. Like, for example, how many times you go to the market and say, please give me a toothpaste or give me a soft drink? You never say that. You always mention the brand. You say, give me Medicam or give me Lux or so you name it, right? So it be similarly, you don't say give me an ice cream. You say I need Cornetto or I need some other brand, the Walls ice cream. Let's say Cornetto is obviously of Walls. So it means that brands are important, and when once people get familiar with brands, they always ask for the brands when they visit shops. So that's why marketing is very crucial. Specifically speaking, advertising. Although marketing does include transportation as well, but I won't talk about marketing in detail. But yes, advertisement is one of the costs, which is a very common cost there for every business. Huh? You have to promote your product so that people come to know about it, and they, whenever they visit shops, they ask for that particular brand there. Fine. So make it seven now. In fact, eight. All right. So two more left. Anybody else who can contribute? I want you to think extensively about it. Okay. Let me.
Sir,
Yes. Yes, Amal.
can packing be one?
Yes. 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 Very good. The right word is packaging. Right. Packing. It's actually not the right word because it's a verb. I am packing my luggage. Huh? Packaging means the a container in which the product is kept. Like, for example, you buy a toffee, so there is a wrapper outside the toffee, right? That wrapper is basically a container in which that toffee or the candy is kept, right? So yes, packaging requires cost. Like, you do not actually send shoes in the same way as you can see in the picture. You need to have a shoe box where you put those shoes. So that shoe box is the packaging. Okay, then you label it with the brand name, you wrap it up, okay, and then you send it. So yes, packaging cost is also part of a business cost. And one more, I can give
Sir,
it to you so that, yeah, yeah, Abir.
sir, one very important cause that a business really has to invest in is when the business gives housing or some services such as pensions to the workers. That way, the business
Yeah,
also has that sort of cost.
yeah, absolutely right. That is also a cost. Very good. Sometimes the business has to provide accommodation to workers as well. That's right. Okay, and the rent of the accommodation is given by the company. Yes, that's right. Sometimes the company they provide offer company vehicles as well to the work employees as well. Yes, that's right. There are storage costs as well because you cannot simply, as soon as you manufacture shoes, you cannot simply send it to the shops. So you have to store it somewhere for the time being till the order comes, right? So for that you require a warehouse. Okay, so warehouse has a cost as well. You need to pay the
Sir,
rent of
shelf
that
cost भी होती है.
shelf cost. Can you just elaborate how?
So, departmental stores like Jalalsons actually charges, like for example, if Nutella is there into Jalalsons, so actually Jalalsons is charging the company of Nutella just to put their jars over there into the shelf.
All right, very good, because that is why I stopped there and I asked you to explain that, because mentioning a point without knowing what would be the reason is not worth mentioning actually. So you are right. Yes, but this normally happens when either the shop is very famous or the brand is relatively weaker or it's a new one. So you actually, because generally shops they actually take those brands which are famous, because they know that every time customers come they ask for those famous brands, right? So if there is a new brand they might have to pay something to the shop so that they can, because obviously your products will occupy a shelf space, and now they will not be in a position to keep other brands. And you know that shop has a limited space, so maybe they can charge for a little while till they are sold, or maybe now there is a significant response from the customer side to buy it, then they may not charge, because generally famous brand they do not have to pay anything to the shops. Talk about Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Toyota, no, not at all. So because they are very famous and they know that people are going to buy them. Okay, cost of tools used to make the shoes, yes, that's right. Very good, Abdullah. Tools, equipment, machinery, yes, that's right. Okay, fine. So we are done. In fact,
Transportation cost.
transportation cost, yes, thank you very much, Taha. Yes, we also mentioned that vehicles which are required to send the goods from the factory to the area from where people can buy, and obviously that is the shops or the point of sale from where customers can buy. So very good. Thank you very much for your participation. We actually covered more than 10 costs. Let's move on. Now we'll talk about different costs which are involved there. Though I know that you have covered it in economics, because it is in one of the chapter you actually studied in grade 9 or grade 10. But still so that's why I will ask you, rather I will straight away start explaining you. What is a fixed cost? Anyone?
Sir, costs are the costs that won't change. For example, the cost for buying the place, the accommodation, and for example, um, the
All right, I understand. You say that, let's say if you buy a piece of land, so that is the cost, right? That's you are saying, na, Mana?
yes, sir. Yes,
Okay, all right.
the
I
fixed
will.
costs are the costs that won't change for a longer period of time.
Okay, all right, Mana. I will comment on your answer, but let me see whether anybody else who wants to respond. Yes, please.
A
Anyone?
fixed cost is a mandatory cost which we do have to pay under any circumstances. For example, if I have a factory, I own a factory, then I do have to pay the rent for the land of the factory, even if the production takes place or not.
Yeah, very good. Yes, another way to explain it as well. Okay, now let me tell you, fixed. You are right that fixed cost is a cost which does not change. But if you write this, you might not get marks for it, huh? Because this is not the right way to explain it. Fixed cost, you will say fixed, and okay, the other part is which Abdullah mentioned, I guess, that fixed cost is a cost which you have to pay. You are bound to pay it, doesn't matter whatever the circumstances are. Now, let me use both these points which you mentioned to form the definition of fixed cost. Fixed cost is a cost which does not change. Okay, but further I will add to it, with a change in the level of production, with the change in the number of units produced, right? So So if you only say fixed cost is a cost which does not change, it's not enough. You have to say that it has no relation with the number of output being produced. Doesn't matter whether you produce more or less, you will pay the same cost. Secondly, the second point which was raised, that even if you are not producing anything, you are at a zero level of output, you are not producing anything, still you have to pay that cost. So that points it out that whatever the circumstances are, either you are producing or not, you have to pay that cost uh, uh, on any basis. You cannot simply ignore it. All right. So it means, and fixed cost remains fixed. Fixed cost can change. Remember, fixed cost can change. Let me give you an example. Rent of the building is a fixed cost. You have hired a building, and let's say, you manufacture cosmetic items over there. Now, doesn't matter whether you produce more cosmetic items or less cosmetic items, still the rent will remain the same, right? So it does not change with the change in the number of cosmetic items produced, right? Okay, and even if you do not produce any item, you have to pay that rent. Fine. But remember, next year, the owner of the building can increase the rent of the building. That is possible. But it has nothing to do with the amount of units you produce or the cosmetic items you produce in that particular factory. So that's my question. That fixed cost can change, but fixed cost will never change with a change in the number of units produced. That is the point you need to mention. You need to know about it to identify a fixed cost, right? So rent of the building is a fixed cost. That's right, because it does not change with a change in the number of units produced. All right. Similarly, if I talk about salary of the workers, so salary is paid to the workers. Okay. For example, I am a teacher and I am given a salary. Doesn't matter how many students are there, right? Doesn't matter whether there are 10 students, 20, or even none. If I am there, I have been hired, they will pay me the salary on monthly basis, right? So it has nothing to do with the number of students which are there, right? Because here I'm not talking about output. Why? Because school is a service business, right? So output is not produced. In fact, services are provided. So I'll talk about students. Okay, so it's a fixed cost, right? So similarly, if you pay salary to the workers, let's say salary to the manager, so it doesn't matter how many items are produced in a factory, manager will get the same salary time and again every month. Okay, and it is a fixed cost. But it is possible that because of good work done by the manager, next year salary can be increased. Okay, manager can get a higher salary. So fixed cost has changed here, right? But it has not changed because of the number of units produced there in the business, right? So that is the thing you need to know. You need to be very clear about it. Now, so let's see, do not vary with the output in the short term. So why I say in the short term? Because fixed costs are the costs which are there in the short term. Even if you do not use it, still it's fine, because I do not want to go into further detail, because then these are the advanced level concepts which may come in your A level examination. So whatever I explained, this is perfectly fine, and this is okay. Even if you do not write short term, it's fine, but you need to mention it does not vary with the output level. So if there is a building there and you have to pay the rent, you know that this is a fixed cost. Okay, so you have to pay. Then paid regardless of output, I just mentioned, and it is also called overhead cost. And you might have seen in your income statement, there is always a word or a term there, overhead, in income statement soon after gross profit. So overhead actually points out towards fixed cost. So it means that soon after calculating gross profit, whatever cost you see, all are fixed costs, because they are called overheads, right? So this name can also appear in the exam. So don't get confused. When overhead is there, it means fixed cost. Another name given to it that is indirect cost. Although there is a slight difference, but sometimes they use the word indirect cost also in place of fixed cost in the paper as well. All right, then we move on to variable cost. Again, you know about it. It's again quite easy, but still, I want somebody to just answer it. What is a variable cost?
The, the
What a
variable cost
variable.
can change with the change in the
Yes,
level of
Taha.
output.
Abhi, just a minute.
Variable,
Yes, yes,
so it can
yes,
be
Taha.
changed with the change in the level of output.
Very
I
good.
think
Yes. Abhi, you okay? All right. Thank you very much, Taha. Yes. Okay, I'll comment on your answer. Yes, Abhi. You want to
So
say
variable
something?
cost is it has a direct relation with the item sold or the number of items produced.
All right. Okay. Actually, it is right. It is right. But actually, the definition you gave, it is the definition of a direct cost. So, but yes, generally direct costs are variable costs. But if you write this, but still there is a difference. So there can be a problem. So it is better to write that variable cost is a cost which does not, which does change with a change in the number of units produced. This is a better way to define. Although the whatever you define, you can get marks, but that is the definition of a direct cost, and we have not actually discussed direct cost at all. Although generally direct costs are variable costs. That's why I'm saying that your answer is not all wrong, but it is better to explain it in that way, like in terms of output. So it varies with the level of output. If more is produced, more variable cost will be there. If less is produced, less variable cost is there. And if nothing is produced, you are at zero level of output. What would be the variable cost? Anyone? Yes, Taha? Sorry, I didn't get you.
well,
Yeah, yeah,
zero, sir.
yeah, absolutely right. Very good. Taha, thank you very much. Yes, the variable cost will be zero as well because it has a direct relation with output. If there is no output, there will be no variable cost. Okay, so it varies with the output, such as wood, which is required to make furniture or table, for example, in this case. So it means if you manufacture more tables, more wood will be required as a raw material. If you produce less tables, less wood will be required, right? And if you do not produce any table, there will be no cost of wood at all. So cost of wood or raw material is a variable cost because it varies with the level of output. Cost directly associated with the output, as I told you, that generally, as Abhi said as well, I guess, that it varies with it is directly related with the output as well. And normally, if such is the case, we call, we also call it direct cost. So another name can be given to variable cost is direct cost. Okay. And now what does it mean when I say directly associated with output? It means if we need to find out what cost is involved in making one table, sorry, one cost of wood, what cost of wood is involved in making one table, we can identify. It's very easy, right? So if we can identify how much cost of wood is involved in making one table, we say that we can directly associate that cost with the output, and that is why it is also called direct cost. Okay, so moving onwards. Okay, just a minute. I mean, I need to attach the charger with my laptop. Just hold on. I'll just take few seconds to do it. All right, so it's done. Okay, all right. Let me share again the slides with you. Yeah, okay. So it is also called direct cost. Okay, so don't get confused if you see a word direct cost because generally it means variable cost as well. Although again there is a slight difference, but right now we are not discussing that. Moving onwards, now total cost. So what do you think? What is the total cost? Anybody who can explain it?
So it's variable costs
Sir,
added
we will
into.
add.
Wait, yeah, yeah, just a minute. Yeah, yeah, just a minute. Yes, Abir, carry on.
So we add all the fixed costs into the variable costs, and that is the total cost of a business.
All right, okay. And yes, yeah, yeah. What do you want to say? Yeah.
Sir, we will add fixed cost to variable cost. Sir, we
Variable
will add
cost.
fixed cost to variable cost.
Very good. That's right. Absolutely right. Because either the cost is fixed or variable. When we add them together, we get total cost. So both Abir and Yaya are right. Good. So fixed cost plus variable cost is a total cost. Fine. Now we'll move on to a very important concept which actually comes in the paper as well, and some students they find it difficult to find it out because break even I discussed in the previous class, but you in the paper you might require calculation as well. Like the examiner may ask you to calculate break even, and at times, in fact, not at times, often is the case that you have to draw a graph to show that break even level as well. So we will actually be doing both these actually the calculation method, how to calculate it and how to show it through a graph as well as far as break even is concerned. Okay, let's see. The break even point is that BEP is the point at which cost or expenses and revenue are equal. There is no net loss or gain. So there is we also call break even as no profit, no loss situation. Remember, we also call break even as no profit, no loss situation as well because both cost and revenue are equal. And I told you yesterday that um, all businesses, when they set up their business, at the start they are at a loss because they have spent a lot of money in the form of expenses and they are yet to receive revenue because right now nothing is produced. As soon as they will start producing it, only then they will be able to sell it na, and they will start getting revenue. So all businesses they start with a loss, then they achieve break-even point, and that is their first target. And then after that, when they sell more, they start getting profit as well because their revenue becomes greater than their cost. All right. So break-even and how to show break-even point through a graph. For that, the technique is called break-even chart. When you actually show break-even point with the help of a graph, we call it break-even chart. So costs are shown there, revenue is there. So now you know that what is actually the revenue. The formula you can see price into quantity sold. It's quite easy, na? That's not difficult at all. Like for example, if I say you the price of the product you sell, let's say it's you manufacture laptops. Okay, so let's say the price of one laptop is 10,000. Okay, so you sell one laptop, you will get revenue equal to 10,000. Okay, but here we are talking about total revenue. So let's say if you sell five laptops, okay, and the price of each laptop is 10,000, what would be the total amount of revenue you will get? Anybody? If five laptops are sold and the price of each laptop is 10,000, what would be the total amount of revenue the business will get?
Sir, 50,000.
Sir, 5.
50.
50,000. Yeah, not five. Yeah, I know that. I mean, it is understandable. Yes, 50,000. Abdullah Zahid, thank you very much. Yes, so this is how we calculate total revenue. Okay, so it means if we sell, let's say now 10 laptops, obviously the revenue amount of revenue will increase to 1 lakh. Okay, so it is quite obvious that when price when you are able to sell more, right, the revenue also increases. Simple as that. Because when you are able to sell more, produce more, you sell more. When you sell more, you get more revenue, right? So there is a positive relation between the output sold and the revenue. You understand this, okay? But remember, when you produce something and you do not sell it, you can't get revenue. I'm assuming that whatever you produce, and that is actually one of the assumption. One of the assumption of break-even is that it is assumed that whatever business produces, they are able to sell it. Okay. Then in that case, whenever output will increase, revenue will also increase because it is assumed that whatever output is produced is sold in the market, and business gets additional revenue or more revenue. So that is why output and revenue has positive relation. Why I'm telling you? Because then you will see the same in the diagram as well. All right, then level of sales to break even, like they mention, the output at which the break even can be achieved, like how much to produce and sell to achieve the break even. Like in the example I gave you of laptops, so whether to sell 5 laptops, 10 laptops, 20, 30, or 50. So what is the level of sales where the business can say that they have achieved the break even, or they can achieve the break even? Huh? You need to know about it, because I told you that is your first target. You want to achieve break even as early as possible so that you can cover all your costs. Otherwise, survival will be very difficult. How long a business can survive if their cost is higher than their revenue? Obviously, sooner or later it is bound to close. You know that. So level of sales is also mentioned in break-even chart. So cost is mentioned there, revenue is mentioned there, and level of sales or level of output is mentioned also. Okay, this is actually the diagram of break-even chart. Okay, now uh, this is the diagram, but we have to draw the diagram using the data, and that is a question which come in the exams as well. And I will be doing it for you, and then I will give you the question based on it as well, so that you will be able to do it easily as well. So now, if you see on the y-axis, yes, Momin, you want to say something? Okay, no, because your camera, sorry, your mic. Okay, fine, you're muted. Was not muted, na? All right. On y-axis we take cost and revenue, right? And on okay, let me just demonstrate it to you with the help of a diagram. I will do it for you, but I think it is better. Now let me just do it. For now, let's say this is your y-axis. Okay, and then we have x-axis as well, horizontal axis we call it. Graph should not be difficult for you because you study math as well. Doesn't matter how weak you are in math, but still. So we take cost and revenue. Do you know why we take both of them? Because break even cannot be found out without cost and revenue. Because we need to compare them together, na? Whether costs are equal to revenue, and then we can say that whether break even is achieved or not, or where what is the point of break even. So that is why we take cost and revenue on y-axis. This is y-axis, right? And this is our horizontal axis, x-axis, x, and we take output here, right? Output. Now remember, there is an assumption that whatever business produces, it is sold in the market, right? Okay. Now I'm going to draw the total total revenue curve. Total revenue curve always starts from the origin, that is 0. Okay, this is 0, right? This is 0. Now I am right now drawing it freehand, but later on in the upcoming classes we will be drawing it with the use of the data which will be provided to you in the question, right? So they never ask you to draw it freehand, but right now to make you understand it, I'm drawing it, and then we will actually do a question as well based on that as well. Now let's say, okay, this is total revenue, okay, and total revenue is a positive slope. You can see that it is actually moving upwards. It is a positive sloped line. Do you know why it is positively sloped? Because with an increase in output, okay, revenue also increases. Simple as that. When output increases, revenue also increases. So you can see that. Let's say this is the output. This is the output. So at this level of output, what is the revenue? Let's say this is the revenue. Okay. Revenue obviously is on y-axis. Now, if output increases, okay, obviously revenue also changes because when you produce, you sell it more. When you sell more, you get more revenue. Simple as that. So now you you can see that with an increase in output, revenue is also increasing. Fine. That is why revenue always have a positive slope. Okay, when output increases, revenue also increases, and that is why it always starts from the origin. Why it starts from the origin? When output is zero, remember, when, let me just remove it, when output is zero, let me write it there. Output is equal to zero, total revenue will also be zero. Do you know why? Why it is the case? Anybody? Anybody? Why
Sir,
when output
because
is
there will be no sales.
absolutely, when nothing is produced, there is no way you can sell your products or you can get revenue. Okay, this is right. But if I use the formula, total revenue is equal to price into quantity sold. Okay, this is actually the formula or simple quantity as well. Now let's say the price of the product is, let's say, 100 rupees, let's say. Okay, now if you are not producing anything in case, so what will be, why revenue will be zero? One, the explanation you gave. The other is you will actually replace p with the price which is there. You will put the value there, 100, into what is the quantity. I mentioned output is zero, so the letter Q is for output. Remember, you know that in economics this is the case as well. So you will say zero because output is zero. So now 100 into zero is zero. Simple as that. So either you use the formula or you have the concept. In both cases, you will get total revenue as zero when if your output is zero. Remember, output is zero. So that is the only reason that total revenue curve always starts from zero. Okay, always starts from the origin. Now, if I draw total cost um, line or curve, let's say this is the total cost, right? Now, again, I'll tell you this is total cost. Now, I know that there is a question there in your mind as well. That, sir, why it is not starting from zero? Why it is starting from the way above the origin? Can anybody tell me before I answer it? Yeah, anybody? Why total cost never starts from zero? No
Sir,
idea?
because of fixed cost is always there.
All right, yeah, great. I was not expecting that answer from any of the student now because it's not that easy if you are just grabbing that concept for the first time. So great answer. I really appreciate you for that. Yeah. Great. Yes. Why? Because as you know, total cost is a sum of fixed cost plus variable cost. Okay. And you know that fixed variable cost changes with the level of output. Fine. But fixed cost has to be paid even if there is zero level of output. So now remember, let me tell you, let's say variable cost is, for example, I'm just giving you an idea, is 80. Okay, and fixed cost is, let's say, 20. Okay, now if I say this is the total cost, now if I say what would be the total cost when output is equal to zero? When output is zero, what would be the cost? Let me use the same formula, right? Now, total cost, let me use the values. Fixed cost is 20, okay? And what would be the variable cost? Anybody? Anybody, any idea? Variable cost.
Sir,
Yeah. Yes, please.
Sir, could you please repeat the question?
My question is, now you can see, let's say output is zero. You are not producing anything, but variable and fixed costs are
Sir,
given to
then
you,
the
right?
variable cost will be also zero.
Very good. Variable cost will be zero. Why? Because I told you fixed variable cost has a direct relation with output. If output is not produced, there will be no variable cost at all. That's right. So it means total cost will be 20. So it means now you can see that even at zero level of output, okay, even at zero level of output, you can see there is some total cost, and that total cost is just because of fixed cost, because variable cost is zero, and that is the reason, because total cost is the sum of fixed and variable cost. That is the reason that total cost never starts from zero. Remember, never starts from zero. And remember, this gap is there na, from the origin to that level. So this is just because of fixed cost. This is just because of fixed cost, and that
Sir, but our
margin
total revenue is zero.
has, just a minute. Fixed cost has to be 20. I'm telling you.
No, no,
So
sir. I'm saying that why do you have drawn a bar, a line diagonal crossing the
okay, all
total
right.
cost?
And why not a curve? That's your question.
No, no, sir. I'm saying that if the total revenue is zero, then why is it going upwards?
Okay, all right. No, now you can see that I'm talking about why they start from a certain point. So I mentioned that why total cost starts from zero and then moves upward. So because at output zero, total revenue is zero. That I was explaining you, right? Similarly, why total cost actually never starts from zero, because there is a fixed cost there. So that's my argument. I'm not saying that total revenue never increases. Total revenue always increases with the output, but it starts from zero. So why it starts from zero? That is my argument. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So now I think now you understand, because I'm just telling you about the nature of these curves, total revenue curve and total cost. So although they look straight lines, but still we'll call them curves. Now you can see that at the start, as I mentioned earlier as well, this point, which one? Let me just uh, color it differently. This one. In this area, what do you find? In this area, let me just use a different color here. Throughout this area, you can see that green line is above than the black line. Green line shows total cost, black line shows total revenue. So we say throughout this area, total, let me use,
Sir,
yeah.
are we in loss in that certain amount of time?
What, like, can you just, let me just write it and then I'll get to you. So here, total revenue is less than total cost. Okay, throughout this area. Okay, all right. Now, what's your question?
Sir,
Question,
I'm
please.
saying that the red area that you have colored, uh, the, is this the area when we are under the when the business is under loss?
Absolutely right. That's actually I was just about to mention. Yes, this is what we call loss. So that is why whenever you start producing or you start a new business, you experience loss, because your cost is always above than your revenue. Because first of all, you need to spend money, you need to buy equipment, you need to hire workers, you need to let's say buy a building, a piece of land, so raw material. That's why you need to cover that cost. But okay, so this is the area of loss. But you can see total cost is also increasing, and total cost is increasing because of variable cost. Because when output will increase, your fixed cost won't increase, fine. But your variable cost will increase because variable cost varies with the level of output. That's why total cost is moving upwards. This is loss, right? Okay, after that, you reach a point, okay, where you find that total revenue is actually equal to total cost. That is the point, right? Let me write it there. Total revenue is equal to, it means now you have managed to cover all your costs, either your variable cost or your fixed cost. And we call this point, what? We call it break,
The break-even point.
absolutely, break even point. And this is very important to achieve for every business. Okay, now if we move further, so you can see that, let me just close it because otherwise I can't color it. Let me just close that, although you don't need to, but otherwise I can't color it. Let me use it, yeah, this one. Now if you see this blue area, okay, in fact this one as well, this, oh, just a minute, let me be very precise. Yeah, now throughout this blue area, what do you experience actually?
So it's the
Any,
profit area.
Profit.
okay, all right, very good. Throughout this area, first of all, I'll write total revenue is yellow color visible that to everybody? Or do you have any problem?
Yes, sir.
It's visible.
Okay, all right. So total revenue is greater than total cost throughout this area. Black line is above than total cost. So this is absolutely profit, and that is what business wants. And you can see that the gap between total cost and total revenue is increasing. It means business is now successful. Their profit level is increasing, and this is what every business wants, right? Okay, now the question is, we have found out the break-even point, but the question is not about break-even point. Now, isn't it surprising? The question comes about, let me write it there. What, just a minute, I think, yeah. What is the break-even level of output? That is the question which comes in the exam as well. You have to find out that at which level of output the business will be able to achieve its break even. So now for that, what you have to do, you have to actually drag this point, break even point, down towards x-axis this way, right? To find out the break even level of output, because output is on the x-axis this way, right? Now you will read the graph from there, because generally in the paper they provide you the scale, okay, of the cost and revenue and the output. Let's say it is 200, 150, let's say, or sorry, 250. So we'll say that the break-even level of output is 250. Now what does it mean actually? It means, I can write it there. If a business is able to produce and sell 250 items, the break even will be achieved, right? So this is how we interpret that. I think it's not, yeah, this one, achieved, right? So this is how we interpret this, okay? To produce
Sir, so
250.
the new businesses which are forming can use this method to calculate that how much items they do have to produce and sell in order to cover up the break even, so that at least they're not in loss at least.
Absolutely. That is why they need to know about their cost data. So they actually draw this diagram to see what would be their target. Because break-even point is not their target. The target is break-even level of output. Now they can see that, okay, our target is to produce 250 units as early as possible, so that we can sell it and achieve break-even as early as possible. Yes, that's right. So this is how the first target is set for a new business, and they try to achieve it early, because if you actually take more time, there will be a problem. You have to experience loss for a longer time period. But after break even, you can see that the profit starts. So that's why all businesses want to achieve break even early so that profit can start early and they can distribute it among the owners of the business or the shareholders. All right. Any question up till now? You are most welcome if there is any
No,
question.
sir.
All right. Okay. So now there is actually another concept there because we are drawing this diagram. So I'll explain you right there. Okay. That is safety margin. Let me write it there because I do not want to actually to go into how to draw it, like using the data, because I we don't have much time actually. Hardly 10 minutes or so is left. So I will be drawing that break-even chart um, using the data in the next class. Okay. Safety margin. Okay, we will actually talk about it later. Let me. This is the what we call graphical method. Let me write it there. This is what we call graphical method to find out break-even level. Okay, graphical method to find out break-even level of output, and I will demonstrate it to you how you will be drawing these curves using the data which will be provided to you in the question. Okay, there is another method. Okay, now let me uh, we call it formula method. Formula method. Okay, or another we can call it calculation method as well. Calculation calculation method, right? Calculation method. So both names can be used for it. Now, what is it? Obviously, as the name suggests, there is a formula to calculate it. So without going into drawing total cost and total revenue curve, you can simply get the break-even level with the help of the formula, right? And what is the formula? Formula is fixed cost. Let me use a different color. Just a minute. Okay, fixed cost into fixed cost over contribution per unit, right? Fixed cost over contribution per unit. Okay. Now, fixed cost you already know. Contribution, what is it? I won't go into that detail because again it's an A level concept. But you need to know how do you find contribution. Now, to find contribution, let me there. I will write the formula of contribution per unit there, right? Okay, the formula to calculate contribution per unit is selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit, right? This is the formula. Selling price price minus variable cost per unit. Okay, this is the formula we use, and obviously they will provide you the selling price and the variable cost. Okay, so we can also write selling price SP. Okay, SP minus VC, selling price minus variable cost. So we'll get what? We'll get contribution per unit. We'll get contribution per unit. Okay, now we can use it in the formula as well. Now let me give you an example. Let's say the fixed cost is equal to $10,000 or rupees, whatever it is. Okay, and the variable cost, the price of one item is, that is selling price per unit, is $10 or rupees, and the variable cost is, let's say it is 5. Okay, so this data will be provided to you, right? Now you will simply use it in the formula. This is the formula. So now just apply the values. Fixed cost is 10,000 divided by 10 minus, because now instead of contribution per unit, we are using selling price and variable cost. Okay, we are using the values of it. 10 minus 5. So we will get 10,000 divided by 5, and the answer will be how much? 2,000. Now 2,000 units. Now it means that if business will be able to produce and sell 2,000 units, business will be able to break even. Now you need to know about that as well, that either you find it out with the help of graphical method or with the help of formula method, your answer must be the same. So because this was an assumption, I will now use the value that is 2000, just to tell you that the answer of both this 2000, either you calculate it through graphical method or you calculate it through formula method, your answer should be the same. If it is not same, it means there is a problem. Either the graph is not correct or the formula you used or the calculations you made, it's not correct. There is a problem. It is not possible that both do can't be the same. So that is a way you can verify as well. For example, in the paper there is a question, find out the break-even level of output using the graphical method, and a graph is there because usually they print the graph. Obviously graph paper is not given to you because you have to write on the same paper. So they actually print the graph on the on your question paper, and you have to draw it there, right? So when you draw it, how would you come to know whether it is right or not? So sometimes you look around, you want to confirm with your from your class fellows. So it is better to use the formula method. So if using formula method you get the same answer, this verifies that your answer is correct, which you found it out using formula method, right? Any question from your side?
So why do we have to minus the variable cost?
Yeah, okay, that is a good question. And okay, I will actually tell you a bit about it, although I did not want to, because again they normally ask it in A levels, but again for your understanding I will explain you a bit about it. Why we, first of all we need to understand that okay, formula to calculate contribution per unit is selling price per unit, fine, we got the formula, but what is the logic and why do we call contribution per unit contribution? So what we are contributing to? So for that you need to understand that when we, you know that there are two types of costs, variable cost and fixed cost. Okay, but when you just subtract only variable cost from the selling price, which cost you have not subtracted, that is the fixed cost.
Fixed
It is
cost.
still remaining. Okay, so it is still remaining. It means that now whatever amount you actually got, that is what we call contribution. Why we are saying contribution? Because now they are contributing towards covering fixed cost. So contribution is not same as profit. Remember, contribution is not same as profit.
So
Why?
but the
Because,
contribution,
yeah, please go ahead.
so but includes the profit margin too, the selling price.
Sorry, in,
So for example, if the price is 10 rupees of my product, then those 10 rupees also cover my profit margin of the product.
uh, not, yeah,
So
you
once I have deducted the
cover
variable
the
cost,
cost. Yeah, that's right. Cover the cost, but that's why I'm telling you that you have now. Let me. I'll give you an example. For example, you actually sell cell phones. Okay, the price of each cell phone is, let's say, 25,000 rupees. Okay, but the investment you made is equal to 100,000. So how can the price of one product will be able to cover all your costs? Is it possible? Tell me.
no, sir.
It's not. That's why you need to see the contribution. Contribution means that whatever amount you are actually getting from the sale, whether they are contributing towards covering fixed cost as well or not. because fixed cost does not change, you know that. So what will happen actually? Let's say you are selling cell phones and you are getting 25,000, and your total investment or the total cost is 100,000. So you will sell one cell phone, you will get 25,000. You will get two cell phones, you will get 50,000, obviously, yeah? And then you will get a third cell phone, so you'll get actually 75,000. So in that way, now you are actually contributing towards fixed cost as well. Okay, so so that is how you do it. But you have to subtract variable cost from it, because variable cost, that shows that you are covering variable cost. It is not possible. Is it possible that if you are selling cell phone, you manufacture it for 30,000 and you are selling it for 25,000? This is not possible, right? So manufacturing cost is a variable cost. So you always set a price which is above than your variable cost. Remember, right? So it means that is for sure that whatever price you charge, it covers your variable cost. But fixed cost cannot be covered from the start because it is huge. Although it does not change, but it is huge. So that's why you see the contribution. After subtracting variable cost from the selling price, you see now what is the amount which is left, okay, which is contributing towards covering fixed cost. Okay, so you keep on selling and you keep on getting contribution. Okay, and by the time you cover all your fixed costs, then we do not call it contribution. Then it becomes a profit. But right now, the main difference between contribution and profit is while calculating profit, we subtract fixed and variable cost both from the revenue or from the price. Whereas in contribution, we only subtract variable cost to see how much business is contributing or revenue is contributing towards covering fixed cost to see when will the business achieve break-even point. Abdullah, have I answered your
Sir,
question?
I still have some. I still need some clarification. Sir, actually, my question is that you've written that 10,000 is the
Okay,
fixed cost,
just a
right?
minute. Let me stop the recording because now I think we can't move further and I will answer your question. Huh? Okay, just a minute. All right. So